It's heating up out there. So, today I saw an announcement that really got me excited for one, and also really had me worried for Fujifilm. So, if you don't know what I'm talking about, today Nikon made an announcement for the release of a silver Nikon ZF, and they also announced that the next update of their Nikon ZF software. I'm not sure if this is only going to be for the ZF or for the entire Nikon line, that they're going to add film grain to their imaging cloud recipes, which is basically their version of Fujifilm film simulations. Now, why am I excited about this and why am I worried about Fujifilm a little bit? Is because honestly, Fuji has had a monopoly on film simulations for a very long time. Let's think about it. Fuji has had their very aesthetically pleasing camera bodies with the analog feel and the aperture ring and so on and so forth. They've had film simulations that have been very compact. And honestly, Fujifilm photographers and shooters love it. But I wouldn't say that Fujifilm has really had any competition for a very long time, and that is until recently, because just recently we have the Lumix S9 with their now getting into the film simulation or real-time LUT, whatever they call it, and now you have Nikon getting into their own version of film simulations. So now, why do you think I'm worried about this? Or why should Fujifilm be worried about this? Why should you care? Or why should you be excited about it? Well, let's go ahead and break it down. What are the advantages of Fujifilm? Now, I enjoy shooting Fuji as much as the next guy. I have my XE5 right here. I'm shooting with my Nikon Z6 III. And I enjoy shooting with a bunch of different camera bodies. But I would say that Fujifilm has really enjoyed being in a space without competition for a very long time. And I think that's about to end. Now, what is that going to do? What is that going to force Fujifilm to do? Fuji cameras has very beautiful aesthetic looking cameras. Yes, we all know that. We all love that. That's why we buy their cameras, even though one would say that they're a little bit too expensive for what they offer sometimes. Well, now you have Lumix getting into the game, and then you have Nikon getting into the game. But what would happen to Fujifilm's market share if all these other camera manufacturers started to strategically target Fuji customers? That's a question I'm honestly excited about, because I think what's gonna happen here is it's gonna force Fujifilm to become a lot more innovative than they have been in the last couple of years. Now, Fuji, let's be honest, their current fifth generation cameras, they are very great. They're very good at what they do from the XH2 to XH2S to the XT5, X100V, and the XE5. They're really good, but they are lacking in one element that they've been severely lacking for a very long time. And I think that this is an opportunity for them to change and get ahead of this with whatever it is their sixth generation camera is going to look like, which I believe is going to start with the X Pro 4 line. Whatever it is that they're planning on cooking up in the lab over there, they need to do it, and they need to do it well. So I think, and I would say that Fujifilm needs to finally fix their autofocus. Because what happens when you have, and by the way, just to give you an example of what the competition looks like, Nikon built their ZF camera, and that's their first generation of the ZF line, and that camera is simply excellent. It came in black at launch, and now it's in silver, which again gives it more of that vintage aesthetic that we all like from Fujifilm. And now they're coming for the film recipe English for the film recipes that Fuji is known for. So what happens when Canon starts making cameras that are compact with pancake lenses that third-party manufacturers are starting to make? Nikon starts to do the same thing, more compact, more portable cameras that have the same stylic aesthetic, and whether or not you care, is full frame. These are the things that I think Fujifilm has been able to get away with for a couple of years, and I'm pretty sure all of us customers have had some time when we've been very frustrated with Fujifilm's autofocus. I, for the life of me, cannot understand why they haven't been able to find a solution for the autofocus. I don't understand it. I know some people say that the X-trans sensor takes a lot more power compared to the Bayer sensor. I'm not exactly sure. I'm not too knowledgeable on that front of things, but whatever it is, they need to figure it out, and they need to figure it out fast. Because as soon as these other camera manufacturers start figuring out that they could take a lot more market share by targeting customers that are shooting with Fuji, hey, at the end of the day, it's all about the money. And these are companies that are in the business of making money, surviving and thriving. So if Fujifilm is not gonna fix the major things that's been crippling their camera system on the sixth generation cameras, I think honestly these other camera manufacturers are going to leave them in the dust, because the advantages that they shared all these years are the aesthetics, the compactness, and the film simulations. So if you have other players in the market that offer the same thing with a larger sensor, how is Fujifilm going to survive? Now, I'm excited about this because I think it's an opportunity to push these companies for a lot more competition on that front. It's an opportunity for Fujifilm to feel a little bit of pressure, in an area that is pretty much their bread and butter. So I hope this kind of gives them a kick to really think and plan accordingly to make sure that whatever they put out next can compete with the next generation, with the new cameras coming out from the other competition. Because honestly, if not, I think we're gonna start seeing a small gradual decline of Fujifilm as these cameras start making better and better cameras, and they start getting deeper into the film simulation space. Nikon is adding a film grain to their recipes, which is going to add that little touch of a filmic look to their recipes, the same way that Fujifilm as film simulations has. So bit by bit, pieces by pieces, they're gonna start just chipping away at the little advantages that Fujifilm has. And honestly, I think that's gonna be excellent, because I think it's gonna give them a much greater sense of urgency to go ahead and give people a lot more compelling products. Because at this point, what they're doing is basically putting the X Trans 5 sensor into different bodies across the line. 40 megapixel is excellent, all that good stuff. But they haven't had a major shift in something that's truly exciting that will keep customers coming again and again. We all love Fuji, at least I do. I can only speak for myself. And if you're here, more than likely you like shooting with Fujifilm as well. But we can't ignore the fact that Fuji has a lot of disadvantages, but they make very beautiful cameras that you enjoy shooting with. And I think they've been able to thrive because other camera manufacturers haven't really, provided any resistance in that certain niche, in that certain category of cameras. But I think that's changing really soon, and I think Fuji really does need to, that's the right English, step it up a little bit. So what do y'all think? Does this pose a threat at all to Fujifilm? Do you think that Fuji doesn't have anything to worry about? Do you think camera manufacturers are going to start making more compact, more aesthetic looking cameras to basically oppose Fujifilm's grip on that segment of the market? What do y'all think is going to happen? Because honestly, I think the heat is on, and I think Nikon is coming in strong, and I'm pretty sure Lumix is also going to continue to get better on this front. Anyway, that's all I got. I'm very excited for what's to come. And again, thanks again for coming here. It's your boy Flex and Anaba, and yeah, peace.